So we're recording to the cloud, and we're gonna try and upload to the, where do I even do that at? Here?
The interweb.
Where do I? Oh, live stream. Okay. I hope I hit that right. Live stream to Facebook. Okay. Here we go.
In 3, 2, 1.
This is more difficult.
Where's Lisa when we need her?
Yeah, I know, when you're ready to go to bed. Okay, so we are recording and we are live streaming. So, oh, here comes Carla. I'll let her in real quick. Okay, ladies. So we have officially launched our brand new product, Unwind, to the masses. We got to get our hands on it about a week ago. And they did a really cool deal for all the advocates. We could buy in bundles so that we could sample to customers and stuff like that. And I have already been personally through 2 jars of samples. There's 10 in a jar. And so far, everything that I'm getting back is really good feedback. Most everybody is saying that they're just feeling a really nice, mellow chill. It just kind of, brings them down a notch or two before bed. Not having any reports, so to speak, as feeling buzzed, so to speak. But Dawn, what kind of feedback are you getting back on them?
So same, great night's sleep, and I can personally attest to that as well. And before I get completely off, like derailed with this, so I've been having something funny happening in the past month or so. So with my regular CBD regimen, I've gotten to the point that I have no more back pain, no hip pain, which for me plagued me for literally 20 plus years. What I have found lately, and I suspect that it's a sign of like perimenopause, is that when I wake up in the morning, or if I have to get up in the middle of the night to let the dogs out or use the restroom, my feet are killing me for some strange reason. And it's the strangest thing. I'm not gonna like race to the doctors, but it takes me a while to really walk it off. And this week, since I've had the Unwind, I am waking up with no foot pain and I'm taking it at bedtime. So that is the only thing that I've done different. So that's what I'm giving credit to it. But it stands to reason because that bit of THC is wonderful for pain. So sometimes it's just a little bit more than that your system needs to be able to help with that pain in a more instant manner, right? So CBD will get to the root of a problem over time, but that THC really is almost like taking a Motrin without taking a Motrin, right? So great feedback from what I've reported, but then also the people that I'm chatting with. Sleep is huge, huge, huge. Just feeling relaxed. I will tell you, I took a half and went to a retirement party, and I just felt like really in the zone, kind of like I had a nice glass of red wine, and it was perfect. So I haven't ventured into the whole one during daytime hours at this point. I will for research purposes, of course, at some point in time, and I will give you the feedback on that. But it's all good. I have not had anybody say that they're having, like dry mouth or any of the kind of funny symptoms that people may report at some point. But also, this isn't like a dispensary strength product, which is like 30 to 43% THC. That is just more than the body needs at this point. So I think we're going to have a great feedback from people across the board on this. So I'd love to hear any feedback that you all have.
I will personally say I have experienced a little bit of dry mouth with it, not near as much as I have with other THC products, but definitely just a little bit. But I'm also that person that cinnamon, like any of the cinnamon stuff, really gives me raging dry mouth. So like I think I'm just a little overly sensitive in that department. But what you were saying, like you took it at the retirement party and you just kind of felt zoned in. I really feel it's almost kind of like when it comes on, it kind of like dulls the noise, so to speak. Does that make sense? Like
Mhm.
I'm able to put down the phone, I can focus on the TV, I can focus on the one thing that I really want to be doing at that moment instead of being distracted by all the notifications and dings and things like that and not feeling like I need to do something else to have a dopamine hit. Does that make sense? Like
Yes.
it kind of just shuts everything off and I'm just kind of like I'm right here right now. I don't have to go scrolling. I don't have to go find something else to like, pull my attention into a focus that I can go like, making hats at night was one thing that I would do to go kind of like get me into a creative mode, but it would also kind of pull me down into a space where I could go down. You know what I'm saying? And just kind
Just
of
stay
like,
focused.
yeah, get into one spot and then my brain would start to calm down and go to bed. But yeah, I mean, it's been really nice for just kind of a low key roll in real slow into the bedtime routine.
Mhm.
I'll second that. It's for me. It's been just a real calm, just a feel, just a light, calm, happy feeling for me. I took, I don't know. I guess I didn't cut it. I just like bit into it. So I did like a third to a quarter the first night. And obviously, I had listened to Marlise talk about it. So I didn't just, I mean, it was so good. It tasted so good. I wanted to take the whole thing because I love ginger, ginger and
Mhm.
lemon, and then that little bit of mint on the finish. It's so fresh. So I wanted to eat the whole thing, but I was like, nope, I'm going to take inventory after about 15 or 20 minutes. And I'm glad I did because it just felt exactly like what Dawn said. It was just like how I feel when I've had a glass of red wine. It was just, just like a soft feeling. Um, I don't know. And I felt very present. We had a friend here who had just had a procedure, so we were, kind of taking care of him while he recovered from that. So he and Don and I were just having a conversation, and I didn't get like because I was kind of waiting, to see if I was going to be like, self conscious or lose my hands. Meredith knows that story. Um, but nothing, I mean, it was nothing weird. It was just very comfortable, and I love that because I have had some other THC products in the past that really made me feel very uncomfortable, almost paranoid, and just like an out of body, floaty experience. And I don't want to feel altered. I just want to feel good and calm. And I will say that I really do feel like people who are, maybe wanting to cut down on that the glass of wine they have every night, or even looking at sobriety as a new journey, or not drinking at all for whatever reason. I really do think this can be a great alternative for people because you feel good, but you're still. I'm not suggesting that you do it and drive. So let me just say that. But because I haven't tried to do that, but I did not feel altered in any way that I would feel uncomfortable driving. But who knows? Like if I took a whole one, I don't know how it would feel. But it's just a very very nice feeling. And then tonight is going to be a real um, I guess, test for me because I hurt my back yesterday. Just moving furniture just pulled a muscle. So, Dawn, I'm really curious to see if I experience that with that extra boost of, like the THC amplifier
Nope.
along with my CBD protocol. So, I'm hopeful. That's one reason I look the way I do. Like,
Well, I know that
I've been in a
Reagan
lot of pain.
Reagan told me the other night that she and Todd had tried it and she was very concerned about dosing and things like that because she has never ever used any THC type product other than our full spectrum jellies. And if for folks that don't know what our Unwind jelly is composed of, it is 2.5 milligrams of THC and 25 milligrams of CBD. It is hemp derived. It still falls within the federal legal limits for hemp derived THC in all 50 states. So this is not an issue with legality, so to speak. But she's never had THC in any form other than outside of our CBD full spectrum products. So she was, you know, a little apprehensive, like I think most people in that situation would be. And Todd, her husband, also took some. She said that I think Todd took a half and she took like a fourth. She didn't immediately feel anything, but Todd, within 30 minutes, looked at her and said, "My back does not hurt at all. Like my back pain is gone." Now, this is a gentleman who is in retail in a very popular store in their town and stands on his feet, you know, 8-10 hours a day at least on a retail floor, concrete. And so for her and him, that was one of those things that really answered some prayer for them because his back's been hurting. So she was really amazed by that. I think she was a little floored by her body's response because she said she didn't feel a fourth. So she tried a half the next night and she was like totally the same thing, just chilled right on out. She said, "I can totally see why people really like this in, you know, instead of a glass of wine or a nightcap of some sort." She's like, just a totally mellow feeling. So I think we're going to see a lot of really good things come out of this product. I personally, so far as my experience, I would not take this in the morning because it would definitely make me want to go to bed. Like I can tell you, I took a quarter before we started this, because we all said we were gonna, you know, take our Unwind so we could talk about it and just give our personal experience. But after we get off this call, I will probably immediately be going to put myself into bed because I am ready to go to bed. But a fourth is great for me. Like I take the fourth. I would encourage those who are taking it to make sure that you're sucking on it like a lozenge, because just like when you take CBD oil, it will absorb in the capillaries in your mouth and get into the bloodstream faster. Of course, you can, you know, chew this and eat it. It will absorb very well through the gut, but in order to get a more quick response, if you just suck on it in your mouth and let it dissolve, it's gonna hit the bloodstream quicker. And I really like the flavor. It's very it reminds me of like a lemon cough drop of some sort. It's not super lemony, that ginger's there, and then of course it's got that mint finish, but that's exactly what it reminds me of, is like a really nice cough drop flavor. Like not a bad cough.
I agree.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like one of those lemon honey Ricolas that they've got out or something like it's, but it's very, very good. The flavor profile is amazing. Like
I
you,
think it's my favorite yet.
yeah, you
Honestly.
really kind of go through the whole flavor profile if you just sit there and suck on it. You're like, oh, there it is. Oh, there's that. Oh, there, you know. So it's
Yeah.
really, it's a very well thought out flavor.
I will tell you too, just from a testimonial standpoint, I had a friend that was over this weekend and she just felt like her energy was off. Like she was kind of amped up and not quite herself. So I sent her home with some samples of them, and initially I said, you know, here's a third. I've already cut a third. So what she's had them now. Well, she brought them home yesterday, I guess, or no, the day before. She loves them. She said she was noticing herself because she can occasionally have some panic attacks come on. And she said she was feeling like that was going to happen and that this has almost like broken that cycle. And so I'm not somebody that has panic attacks, but oftentimes what my friends will tell me is that they feel this aura almost, right? Like they know that it's building up to it and that they will be having one at some point in time. And she said she feels like this just broke that cycle for her, that that feeling is kind of gone and lifted at this point. So, I would love to see people have something that is safe and effective for them to try when they're in those moments of just feeling distress too. That's a big thing for a lot of people. I mean, I work in the operating room, and we've had people that are like new um, to our job who get kind of like excited and slash really nervous before, or in the hospital setting in general, that can happen with new nurses. um and there's situations where people have had to leave and go take like a Xanax or an Ativan, but I'm thinking, like, wouldn't it, there's a happy medium, because if you can take something that will not make you feel altered, just enough of it, I would so much rather have somebody that I knew had a good, even keeled attitude going into something than us encouraging people to like go take barbiturates and benzos and, things like that. This just feels like such a better experience in general for people to have this as an option. There's just, you all know how I feel, that there's just such a litany of side effects with so many of those other things. And that's not to say you can't take them, but I would love for it to not have to be a go-to for a lot of people. And if they could just take a little tiny piece of this and feel calm and still clear-headed, right? Like that's
Yeah.
the goal, I think, ultimately.
I heard somebody was talking about taking just an eighth of one of these, and just for anybody who hasn't seen them yet, gotten them yet, and these are larger than our other nano jellies. So I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but it's about the size of my thumb, and it for an eighth of a gummy to help somebody just to feel that sense of calm and peace and just focus, taking away whatever, that taking that edge off and just kind of helping you to come to center. I mean, that's huge. And I will tell y'all, I mean, obviously since taking CBD now for gosh almost 6 years, my sleep is really good, and that's what helped me really get through menopause. The disrupted sleep was a huge part of menopause, and I didn't even know that. I didn't even have that expectation. But I do sleep really well. But when I have taken these, this is my third night taking it, and I didn't take it last night just because my husband's band played, and I did have a glass of wine there, and I didn't want to take that, on top of it. And but my sleep has just been enhanced, like just taken to a whole new level. But I wake up the next morning still, like ready to go. I mean, not like any kind of a hangover or anything where I'm like slow to start. So just totally refreshed and ready to go, and just feeling like I've just had really good quality sleep. So that's amazing.
It's funny too, because, oh, go ahead.
No, it's okay. Go ahead, Dawn.
I was just going to say, the number of people that have over the years said something to the effect of like, I don't need that, I take the real stuff, right? This is actually, to me, exciting for those people, because what we find, even from a medical standpoint, is that oftentimes the human body is telling you, like, that is too much THC that you're giving me. So we oftentimes have people, like, it's not uncommon to have young kids or people that either smoke or use, like dispensary strength marijuana on a regular basis, which oftentimes they are using it for anxiety, and they will tell us that. Um, it is creating more anxiety. So you might feel calm in that very moment, but the after effect is that you are like wound like a top. So it almost creates like you need more and more in that sense. And then hyperemesis, like there are people that come into the emergency room nonstop vomiting and cannot hold anything down. Well, oftentimes it is because they're consuming way too much THC way too often. And for those people that smoke on a regular basis, many people are doing it for medicinal purposes, right? They have back pain, they have anxiousness, whatever it is. But wouldn't it be great if you can take a product and still actually conduct every other aspect of your life and still get the same benefits? You know, this is something that I think really THC is such a great um, part of the cannabis plant, and it has amazing medicinal benefits when used appropriately. But, you know, sometimes it's just way far overdone at this point. So,
Yeah, I would say that the THC of these days is not the THC that our parents smoked in the 70s, if your parents smoked, but
yeah,
you know, and there's so
yeah.
many, I mean, there's this, I was actually at the paintball field today and was talking to a guy, and some of the guys were asking me about it. Now we've got a large military, presence around here, so they can't take it. But one of the guys was talking about it, and he said something about Delta 8, and I was like, this isn't Delta 8. Like, number one, this is hemp derived. It's legal in all 50 states. Delta 8 kind of rides a gray area, but Delta 8's been dangerous. I mean, there's been deaths from Delta 8, and it's scary that that product is still on the shelves. I was hoping that when they put it back on the substance list that it would somehow phase itself out, but it hasn't. But Delta 8 is dangerous because it's synthetic and you don't know what kind of solvents that they've used in it. And I was explaining this to him, and he was like, oh, I didn't know that. And I said, yeah. I said, the plant doesn't produce Delta 8 in high enough quantities in order to commercialize it and to sell it. I said, so they synthetically make it. And if you're smoking hemp flower, that's Delta 8, you're literally just smoking hemp flower that they have synthetically sprayed with Delta 8. And then of course there's all the Delta 8 products. And he was like, well, thanks for letting me know that. I did not realize that it was like that. And I said, yeah, I said, that's going to be the difference. One of the biggest differences between what we have and a lot of the stuff that's on the shelf out there is that ours is USDA certified organic. And it also comes with all the reports that shows you exactly what's in it and what's not in it. Um, example, exactly, there's the QR code on the bottom of the bottle, but a big example is that is going to be like heavy metals and pesticides. Those are two of the big things that you find in a lot of these products. They're super unsafe. Something else that I wanted to touch on too was we got talking about pricing the other day, and I broke this out, and because there's only 10 jellies in this jar. This jar is smaller than our traditional CBD jelly jar. Hold on one second. So this is our, and they put a lot of thought into this, y'all. Number one, this is the difference in the size of the jar. Even though they look similar, they do have a different symbol on them. There is a 21 and over label on this on the new Unwind jelly jar, but the lid feels different. It's got a different texture to the lid, and this is also child-proof lid. There's 10 jellies in here, there's 30 jellies in here. And someone said something about the price, and I said, well, if you actually go and divide this out, like let's do the actual math. You think that it sounds like it might be expensive. I said, but if you divide the price of these 10 jellies versus the retail price, and these 30 jellies, the Unwind is only about, I think, 60 to 70 cents more a piece per jelly. And the other thing is, you gotta think, most people aren't gonna be taking a whole one of these. Like I said, like Kelly said, she's taking an eighth, I'm taking a fourth. Dawn's over there banging out a whole to a half whenever she wants to.
Just
But
depends on the day.
I'm doing a half. I heard somebody else say that they got good results with an eighth, and I'm like, I don't know.
it really
That seemed too rookie to me, so I went all in.
which So, and that's kind of what I was saying about, about Reagan. Reagan tried a fourth and she didn't feel anything. And she's never had any THC whatsoever. So she was like, I really surprised myself. And she's like, I'm always the outlier. So she tried a half and she got better results there. Me, a fourth, I'm good. Like, that's all that I need. If I go to a half, I'm just gonna go ahead and walk myself to the bed before I get done sucking on it because it's just gonna. I'm like I'm gonna be face down in the pillow, just drooling. Um, and but I mean I'm ready for that kind of sleep though too. But I just kind of wanted to cover that so far as pricing is concerned. That these are very very comparable in price to what we already have in our lineup. And to be honest with you, I'm just saying, if you've ever been to a dispensary, number one, it is super, super hard to find a USDA certified organic product. Okay. Let's remember that when you go buy the carrots from the grocery store, if you're getting them in the regular place versus getting them in the organic aisle, the organic carrots are gonna cost more. It's the same situation. Organic products just cost more. There is a lot more testing and growing things
Quality.
organically is not cheap. It is hard to do. And I know exactly how hard it is to do it because I'm in the green industry. Growing organic anything is tough. It's super tough. You're battling pests and, fungus. Like we use fungicides, insecticides, herbicides all the time in our nursery. Unfortunately, it's hard to grow something on a commercial level and do it in an organic fashion. It's super tough. So just keep that in mind too. But like I was saying earlier, going into dispensary and finding USDA certified organic product is, I mean, I've been in a couple and it's tough. I mean, there's been a couple of, bud tenders that have said, we know this farm, we trust their product, but they're still not USDA certified organic. So
Mhm.
you kind of, you're kind of winging a prayer doing that. But yeah, so just keep that in mind. But even with that being said, $50 retail for a jar of 10 isn't really that much more than a comparable product on the market if it is marijuana derived. 2.5 milligrams or higher is comparable. It's not really that much difference. So what do you think, Dawn? I mean, you're up there where it's legal.
Yeah, no, honestly, for the quality that you're getting, I mean, the way I look at this, it's like comparing a McDonald's cheeseburger patty to like a triple prime, right? It's just it's the end result that you're getting, and that's why, again, like you said, things do cost up. There is a little larger price tag on it because there has to be. We're talking about quality, and nothing up here, at least, that comes from a dispensary that I've seen has a certificate of analysis at even, right? Never
Right.
mind USDA certified organic. That is very hard to find. Um, but again, there's no sheriff in town saying that people have to do things the right way yet. And that's what I'm excited about. I cannot wait for that to happen because while they will never regulate, CBD products or anything like that, there will be guidelines and that we know the guidelines are coming. And the simple fact that they've come to us, the FDA has come to us to ask questions like, how are you doing this? How are we, how are you processing things and all of this? So they're using us as the gold standard already, which is quite a compliment, frankly, when you know all the companies out there that are producing these products. The vast majority of them, unfortunately, are probably white labeling and just slapping a sticker on them. But I welcome it. I'm excited about it, and I think that the world needs it because whether we're talking about the food you eat or the supplements you're ingesting, cleanliness does matter. It's a big deal, and I think people are starting to open their eyes to that now and understand the importance of it. You know, it's not just what the pretty package looks like. It's like,
Yeah.
what's on the inside, you know?
That was kind of the light bulb moment that that guy had on the paintball field today. Like when I was talking to him about Delta 8 and then I was telling him about ours, he's like, "Oh my gosh, that's a really good point. I've never thought about that." And I was like, "Yeah." And so one of the guys who takes our because the whole paintball team takes our Mind Bloom product. They came, all of them came with their bottles today and they were like giving them to all the rest of the guys. You gotta try this, you gotta try this. So um that's, I mean, like, I'm super excited to see those guys using that product. But he was like, "Yeah, you need to talk to her because she's got all the information when it comes to the clean stuff. Like, if you do anything, support her instead of going to the vape shop." And I was like, "Thanks, man. I really appreciate that." But I mean, it was really a really cool moment to see because typically we're still fighting that stigma of like what you said, Dawn, like, "Oh, I do the real
Mhm.
stuff. I don't need that." And
Yeah.
so a lot of those guys over the last couple of years have watched my journey with Green Compass, and they've always asked if we would get a product like this. And I was like, "I don't really know what to tell you." We're kind of like, if it fits in the health and wellness space, then yes. But if it's just for recreational use, I would say I don't know that that's going to happen unless legalization in North Carolina itself happens. I know that Green Compass will follow the market in the way that is smartest and also upholds their values at the end of the day. Um, but when they came out with this, there was a lot of questions, but I'm super excited to be able to offer those folks and honestly, that faction of clientele that I have were the first ones that I texted. I was like, "Listen, I have a product that's coming to market and I really want you to test this out." And a couple of them asked, they were like, "Why are you asking me?" I was like, "Because you're the one who doesn't do diet weed." I mean,
So,
like, I really want you to give me your feedback on this. Like, I want
right.
you to tell me how you feel about it. Like, you haven't tried my CBD product because you feel like you don't need it, but the next morning you're always complaining that you're stressed out, you've got super high anxiety, and you didn't sleep well. But I digress. Um,
Mhm.
but like I really want your feedback because you are someone who uses THC on a regular basis. I want you to tell me how you feel about this product. And so I have samples in all of their hands and I am waiting for their feedback because I know it's going to change their mind about a lot of things.
Well, we have to remember too that it's not just the THC alone, it's the fact that
Right.
it's paired with the
Yes.
25 milligrams of CBD. And that is where the magic happens, is when you can have both of them, right?
Yeah.
So you're hitting the physical, the mental, the emotional receptors for all of those sites that you need it to. So
Yep.
it really is such a well-rounded product. I'm so thankful that they did this because the world needs it. Not everybody wants to get completely schnockered on
Right.
their THC product, right?
Right.
There's many people that want it for health and wellness purposes. It has its
Yeah.
place, you know? So now I feel like those two worlds have collided and we've found such a nice balance.
Yeah. It's a perfect medium in between product with a still with a true mission of helping people feel better and not in an aspect where we're just trying to get somebody high. That is not the result that we're looking for. And with all of the
Oops.
back that we are getting back, it's really super geared towards sleeping better, knocking out the pain, um, just relaxing
Stress.
instead of having to get that glass of wine or, a couple of beers at the end of the night to fall asleep. And I don't know about y'all, but every time I ever did that, whenever I did drink, I would fall asleep really good, but I would always wake up in the middle of the night having to go to the bathroom or just kind of like wide awake. I don't know why. It would help me fall asleep, but it would always jack up my sleep schedule in the middle of the night. So,
Well, and alcohol can induce a lot of anxiety too. I mean,
yes.
you know. But I was going to say just a couple of points. I do have a friend, actually a girl who's on my team, who has a lot of experience with THC, and she was actually looking for a company to partner with, gosh, probably a year or so ago. And she and I met, just it was a serendipitous thing. We met at an event, and I said CBD and functional mushrooms, and her ears perked up. She was like, "Wait a minute, like this is exactly what I've been looking for." So she's had great results with the CBD products, but she dropped in our team chat today that she took a whole one last night. She said she woke up feeling amazing, no grogginess, no hangover feeling or anything like that, and just felt completely just like she said it was just like a blanket, just felt cozy and comfortable and just a sense of calm. What I said, how I felt. But one thing, I don't know if we've touched on this. I think one of the things that makes this product so different, obviously, not using the solvents to extract the cannabinoids, or the fact that we're organic and everything is grown clean, but the fact that these are water soluble. Most gummies that are on the market are fat soluble, so they're going to take 30 to 90 minutes for you to even have an experience, whatever you're going to experience. And that's why that first night when I took that first little nibble, I was like, okay, I'm going to wait 15 or 20 minutes just to see, because that water soluble quality of these jellies makes them, it's a faster response in the body. So, and I really did feel it. It was probably right at about 15 minutes. And I was like, whoa, I just felt light. I just felt light and happy. And I don't know. And I have to say that when I had this, I haven't had any desire to have a glass of prosecco, which is one of my love languages, as y'all know. Prosecco or my red wine. Like I don't even want it, and I'm like, that's pretty cool. Nor do they give me, or at least me personally, I haven't had like any increase in appetite. Like the proverbial munchies or anything like that. I have not experienced that either. So
I will have to confer on that. I have not experienced an increase in appetite, and I am usually susceptible to an increase in appetite when using THC products. Like it's bad. So I have not had any issues with that at all. But I do know that we've got a couple of other ladies on the call with us tonight. If y'all want to unmute yourselves and ask any questions or give your own personal experience, y'all are welcome to. If you don't want to, that's totally fine. But I think we've pretty much covered everything that we had intended on covering tonight. Dawn's phone died, so she got booted out. But other than that, it's like 8:40 and it's 10 minutes past my bedtime.
it is bedtime. Night night.
Time to go to bed. The Unwind has kicked
They're
in.
just they're just so good. They're
They
just so
are.
good. I'm just so glad that we have this now, because I've had so many people asking about this for such a long time. What's Christine saying? Oh, she hasn't gotten hers yet.
Yeah.
Okay. And I see Heidi's on here, and I think she just got hers today. So I can't wait for you to report, Heidi, what your experience is. I
I
think you're going to love them.
just took it a little while ago. I'm sitting here like, woo!
There you go.
I'm ready for bed too, but in such a good way.
Yeah.
I only
Yeah,
took a
Nice.
quarter, and I'm a total lightweight with these things, so it hit me pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's a lot faster than I would say a traditional edible is. So it definitely it gets in the system a lot sooner than what I've previously experienced. But yeah, it's just like what you said. It's just kind of, ooh, I'm ready to go to bed. So
Yeah, just super comfortable, just ready to tuck in.
yep,
But
yep.
that's one more thing, and this is the last thing I'll say. I think that because of that, and obviously we're all kind of like learning, just like with CBD, like learning like the dosing sweet spot. But I think this is a little more predictable, because a lot of times, like when you go to a dispensary or if you go to a vape shop or whatever, you get something and you're kind of relying on the person behind the counter kind of giving you guidance or whatever. But everybody is unique. We all have a different response to whatever, whether it's THC, whether it's CBD. as far as like how our body responds to it. But I think that this is going to be something that we can kind of anticipate and predict how we're going to feel a little bit more than something like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, probably mostly because the product itself is going to be more consistent. That's one issue with a lot of THC edibles on the market per se that you're getting from the dispensary is that just like with CBD, when you don't have a trusted source, you might get one thing that works one time and you might get the same product 6 months later and it doesn't work the same. So, whereas there's a lot of inconsistency on the market when it comes to CBD or THC period, no matter whether it's hemp or marijuana derived. That's one thing that I can say. Green Compass products have always been very, very, very consistent in the way that they perform, in the way that you use them. And sometimes you get a dispensary product and you might use it and it might not work. Or you end up taking more 2 hours later and you didn't think it worked. And then all of a sudden you've got like a double punch that you were not ready for, and you're like, in the fetal position in the corner. So,
For hours too, right?
yeah,
You
for
can't
hours.
undo it once
For
you
hours.
take it.
So, yeah, that's not where we want people to be at by any stretch of the imagination. We don't want you, being paranoid. We don't want you, upset with your experience by any stretch of the imagination. Always, always, rule of thumb is start low, go slow. We recommend that you take this product, in the afternoon to start with, when you're not going to have to be going anywhere to drive or to, do anything that's going to require a lot of attention, because you might be drowsy. I mean, it's going to kind of put you in a very relaxed state. So, until you know how you yourself and your body's going to react to it, do it at home. Be safe about it. Don't plan on going anywhere for a little bit until you know exactly how your body's going to respond. Because right now, I wouldn't want to drive to my mom and dad's house 7 minutes down the road because I'm sleepy. And I am that person that will fall asleep behind the back of a wheel. I've done it before and in a heartbeat. So, I'm tired. I'm just gonna walk out the door and go to my camper and go to bed. That's all that I have planned for the night. And I know for a fact that this is the product that I will take whenever used to be, go out and party. And now it's like Friday, Saturday night. Yeah, I'm going to bed early. I'm excited about it. So
At my age, that is a party. I'm just saying.
you're like, I don't have anywhere to be tomorrow on Saturday. I'm going to bed at 8:30. This sounds like an awesome night. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it. If y'all have any questions about our experiences, or you want to see some of the experiences that we're getting feedback from other people, we've got tons of text messages from others. If you're an advocate on one of our teams, we have a whole boards app that has all of this information loaded into it with these testimonials in it as well. If you're a customer, or if you're not a customer yet and you want to try a sample, get with the person that invited you here, and they can get you a sample in the mail or in your hands, however local and close you are. Otherwise, these are on sale. They are live on the website. They are $50 retail. They are $40 preferred customer price. And right now, through the entire month of March, any shipment that has Unwind in it ships for free. So if you're just getting a jar of the Unwind jellies, it's going to ship for free. If you are getting the jellies and you need to stock up on some collagen, or some CBD jellies or tincture or some topicals, go ahead and lump it in the cart with this so that you can get free shipping on everything through the entire month. So I hope that y'all, it's been 6 years in the making. I don't feel like anybody who is an advocate with Green Compass wants to be seen as anything other than a hope dealer.
That's right.
We hope that you trust us enough to know that we would not stick our personal names behind a product that would not perform and not be safe. So just understand that this is something that comes from many, many years of research and development. It's been a long time coming. They wanted to do it the right way, the safe way, the the way that they always do in everything that Green Compass does, in all transparency. So if you have any questions, that's what we're here for, is to be transparent and give you our own personal experiences and the experiences of others. But otherwise, I hope that y'all enjoy. If you haven't gotten your product in your hands yet, I can't wait to see and hear from you when you do. Christine, Heidi, y'all let us know what your experiences are like. And we will see y'all next Sunday. Same bat time, same bat place.
Good night, y'all. Sweet dreams.
Yes.